Welcome back to Market on Close. Paramount Skydance continues its amazing rally. The stock has doubled over the last 52 weeks, and its possible pending bid for Warner Brothers Discovery has led to its highest price in more than 2 years. So with all that said, it's now time for Options Corner. Joining us is Rick Ducat, our lead market technician here on Schwab Network. And we are, of course, looking at PSKY, at Paramount Skydance. You know, a monster performance out of this company on today. Not a lot of news, but the top performer on the S&P 500 shares up more than 7%, giving back some earlier gains, but still a very good performance.
And, you know, really, we were flat on during the past year as recently as August 11th. Really, since then, we have pretty much doubled from that point here. So really an extraordinary move in a very short time. Largely seems to be spurred by this takeover news here that they would be planning to potentially buy Warner Brothers here, WBD here. So if we were to look at kind of the streaming services comparison that we have here, Warner Brothers is actually the one that's up the most during the past year here. Netflix, 72%, still quite a strong move. Disney being the laggard, up only about 20% during the past year. But they have so many other things in their business as well. It's kind of a different comparison here. But really, this would be a pretty interesting piece of news here. The merger was described by the chairman of FX Network as inevitable and that the streaming situation is not really sustainable at this point anymore. We could see some regulatory scrutiny, of course, though, with this merger. Many networks, all would be coming together at the same time if this were to go through.
Yeah, you'd have CNN, you'd have CBS, HBO, all under the same umbrella, two of the biggest movie studios in existence. But as we look more specifically just at Paramount, now Paramount Skydance, and their performance, and you can kind of track when they became Paramount Skydance there because the merger itself closed on August 7th.
Yeah, and it's interesting, too, because it's the Ellison family. The Oracle founder, Larry Ellison, his son, David, is the one who's kind of behind this potential acquisition here. We didn't even mention sports, too, in terms of the combined sports rights that they would hold. MLB, NBA, NFL, NHL, UFC, NASCAR. There's too many to list even here. But if we look at the chart more specifically, 1750 was about where we had this spike to the upside. That's about where we topped out. That was about where we bottomed out once more after our breakout occurred. So 1750, our green line here, seems like a notable downside area to consider if we do start to pull back somewhat here. We can also see that the level between about 1680 to 18 or so, this area right here, we can see that it includes our moving averages, our 9-period exponential moving average in blue, our 21-day EMA in yellow here as well. So we can see that RSI, our measure of momentum, is making new relative highs as well. So we are not seeing bearish divergence here where momentum and price were going in opposite directions. This is more what you would want to see if you were bullish.
All right, so we're wanting to see this. Knowing we have a bullish indicator here, have we seen any bullish analyst coverage? We don't have any confirmed reports that this Warner Brothers deal is really coming from Paramount Skydance, despite a lot of commentary on it being quote unquote inevitable. But are analysts responding yet? That's
a good point, too. That's why I didn't want to get too deep into the news because it seems to be just rumors at this point here. But one thing that did come across the newswire, MoffettNathanson raised their price target to 15 from 10, but they kept their neutral outlook here. So once again, 15 below current price still here. But when we look at some of our other studies here, volume profile, not too terribly much help here. The concentration of volume that's the biggest, nearest to where we are, is all the way down at 13 here. But standard deviation channels, which represent standard deviations from this blue line here, our linear regression line, our line of best fit, the +3 and +4 channels come in at 1944 and 2120 respectively. Those could be some boundaries to consider going forward.
And we're trading just below that $20 mark right now. But as far as the options activity is concerned, what are we seeing for Paramount Skydance? Are people favoring calls to puts to calls? Is it more balanced?
Well, we can see that in terms of the volume, it's a heavier day here, about 60% calls to 40% puts or so. But if we look at the expected move for October 17th, we can see that same area that I was mentioning earlier, that area between about 17 to 18 or so, that's the edge of the expected move to the downside here. So if you're looking for a supportive area, that really stands out not only because of the confluence of technicals, but it's also the expected range the option market market is projecting right now. To the upside, though, could be as high as 23.15, 15% plus or minus here in either direction. But we can see that for the open interest for the month, we can see about 113,000 total options contracts for this month here.
Well, Rick, we appreciate you joining us for Paramount Skydance, for Options Corner, for breaking all of that down for us.